Full Life Crew Podcast.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Jareth.
And I'm Deborah.
And we are the Full Life Crew. We are a husband and wife team, been married 24 years, have 8 exceptional children, and we run and drive an ice cream truck.
A Tiki's shaved ice and ice cream truck.
And today we're talking about how stressful raising a family in this environment is.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Now, like always, this is our Just Stuff podcast. We have lots of podcasts. We have one on marriage, one on raising children, but this one is just stuff, and I think this one today may actually cover all 3 of the other podcasts.
I would have to say so, because you're talking about a family, marriage, and all kind of stuff.
But before we jump into that, if you do appreciate this content and you want to help us support and you want this content to continue, then go to fulllifecrew.com/save, and there we have the Upside app. You've been using the Upside app?
I have been, and I've saved like $40-something now.
And I've saved over $40-something, and I think I got more because I had to fill the Tiki truck up the other day. And then we also have Columbia Sportswear. We have some other brands there that are offering big discounts and savings for you, our listener. So if you like this and you want us to continue creating these podcasts, they are not free. They cost time and money.
So go check it out and save yourself a little money also.
But today we're talking about raising a family in this environment, how difficult it is. So, before we just dive into what we're going to talk about, you have no idea what we're going to talk about, right?
I have no clue.
You even asked me earlier, hey, do you have a script? And I said, no.
I said, hey, what are we talking about today? So I can, kind of get prepared. And you said, I'm not telling you.
I don't like giving you a script because if I give you a script, you get focused on all the other stuff and you don't really give me, I don't know how to explain it. You get distracted with the bullet points.
I do. Too much going on. So you just ask me a question, and then when you ask, then I just answer, and you get my truthful answer then.
Yeah. Which is kind of scary sometimes.
Hey, now.
But anyway, so what else has been going on with us before we jump into this topic? So yesterday, what happened yesterday? I can't even remember what happened yesterday.
Yesterday, we had 2 Tiki's events.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And so we worked the first one together.
Yes, and I started early yesterday.
You did start early yesterday. You
and I got home late.
You had a call yesterday morning, and
I had to go stock the truck first.
Mm-hmm. Then you left again about the time school was getting out, and heading to the second Tiki's event, where I stayed back because, number one, my dryer is being not nice. Is
it just us, or do you guys out there always have some appliance or something in your life that is always breaking?
Well, I was determined that this was going to be fixed and not have to buy a new dryer. So I hung around till the dryer man came, and sure enough, it can be fixed.
So yeah, you stayed back. I went and worked the event solo.
Yes.
Which that event is totally doable solo, but you stayed back and you were running all over the place.
Yeah, so after school, the neighbor was kind enough to bring them home because I had a repairman heading to the house, but then we had football. So we headed out to football, and after football, I brought them to baseball. And then after baseball, I tried to make it to the end of Malia's volleyball games, but we got there a little bit too short because they won their first 3 matches, so they were done.
Yesterday was kind of rough, like as far as scheduling wise. That was crazy. Like I was thinking to myself, how do we do this? Like how do I guess we just get lucky.
We get lucky. I think about the parents that are single parents out there. How do they get it all accomplished? Well,
we got really lucky bringing the kids home from school because the neighbor, she teaches up there.
Yeah, so I texted her and said, hey, can you drop the kids at home? She said, sure thing.
And then last night after baseball, Corey brought James home and Mac brought AJ home.
Oh, they split up?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, look, find a ride home with one of the neighbors.
But today what I wanted to talk to you about is I want to know how. I want to know the how, right?
The how on.
Okay, so think about all the stuff we've been through. We've buried a son.
Okay.
We've been sued by Kona Ice.
Okay.
We run and operate our own business.
Okay.
We had 2 hurricanes, COVID. You just recently lost your dad. My dad passed away a couple years ago.
Moving kids to college.
It's just like you just recently your dryer's breaking. I mean, it's like it's like you literally wake up and it's like, I understand. I guess what I'm saying is I understand why so many people out there feel depressed, feel sad, feel exhausted. And I guess, how do we do it? How are we keeping this thing rolling?
Honestly, some days I'm not sure, but then I look at you and I'm like, look, he's still going. I'm still going. And then I've got to where I look at the positives. Did we have supper? Yep, we had supper on the table, and the washer still works. So, we can hang the clothes to dry.
It reminds me of when Hurricane Laura hit and we washed clothes in the ice chest. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
Just make do with the best, make best of the situation.
Yeah, wash them in the ice chest and hang them to dry.
Yeah. What would you say is like the most difficult part of your day?
Probably come when school ends.
Yeah, it's like when school rings and when the bell rings at the last class, it's like it's on.
I would have to say that is probably the most challenging rest of the day, because usually people have things in 3 different spots and we have to get them all these different places and still accomplish what we need to get done.
I was just thinking, like we have a good time when we work, but I know a lot of people hate their jobs. I was just talking to a buddy of mine. He's like, man, all I ever do is work, and I hate that place. So it's like we work together, and yesterday we had a good time.
I enjoy working with you.
Yeah, I mean, we have fun, and but I can just see why so many people are just so exhausted and frustrated out there. What advice would you give someone, maybe a mom or a dad, or could even be a student or a single person that is struggling with life in general? Like, it just seems like every time you turn around, you're getting kicked in the sack. That's what it feels like.
Advice? I don't know if I'm the correct person to be given.
Well, think about it. You're usually very, very positive. You usually have a smile on your face. You're cooking dinner. You're washing clothes. You're transporting kids. You're helping me run a business. So you're doing all this stuff, and you do it every single day. How do you do it?
I guess the only other option I would have is to not cook supper, not wash the clothes, not bring the kids.
All right, let me ask you a different question. What keeps you from just throwing in the towel and giving?
If I threw in the towel for 1 to 2, max 3 days, then it would just be over from there. So I personally think, I have goals for that day, and I try and accomplish the goals I set for myself. And if I get through those, then the next day I move on to the next goals.
Yeah. I'm just curious, because I know people out there suffer, and I know this, and some people only have like 1 kid or 2 kids, and they suffer tremendously with schedules and workloads and all this stuff. So I'm just curious, like, I just watch you. And the reason this one came about is because I was leaving Walmart the other day. I went to get sugar to go make sugar water for the truck.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving Walmart, and I'm thinking, it just hit me, from the Kona Ice Lawsuit to we buried a son to parents passing to hurricanes to, there was just like everything that's terrible that has happened to us flashed in my skull. Like, and then I thought about you. I'm like, how the heck does she do it?
I think, how do you do it? Because you're the head of the household. How do you keep it together?
I'm hoping you're keeping it together.
So I guess what you're saying is, together we can keep it together.
Is it in there a song like that?
I think so. I do look at it though. Some days, like, I can tell you're having a rough day, or things just aren't going your way, or maybe you have a lot on your mind. And I think maybe on those days I kind of pick up the slack, and then I feel you do the same for me.
What would you tell okay, so obviously I am some sort of support structure for you.
You're a very big support for me.
And you're a support structure for me. I was just thinking the other day you cooked me some eggs, and matter of fact, yesterday, and I was running everywhere.
You were.
But you cooked me eggs, and I stopped and I thought, wow, these eggs, she stopped, cooked me eggs for breakfast. I've been running since early. It's just breakfast, but it helped me out tremendously. And I was just like, maybe it's that time of my month or something. I don't know. Am I emotionally compromised or something? What's going on with me?
I think you were just hungry.
Hungry?
You were just hungry.
So what advice would you give like a single mom, trying to raise a couple of kids or a kid, and trying to keep it all together.
Okay, so I think a single mom needs a friend. I think she needs like another friend that she can, confide with and talk to, and somebody that's not going to judge her, somebody that's not going to complain to her. And it could be a sister. It could be a friend, like another kid from school, their mom. But I think a single mom needs, a friend out there.
So I guess the answer to the question is build you a support structure.
Yeah, everybody needs a support structure.
All right.
You're my support structure, and you're my best friend.
Well, you're my best friend, too.
So I think...
you have to be. I talk to you the most. I talk to you, and I talk to children.
That is true. That's true.
And I don't think it'd be appropriate to have a child as your best friend.
Maybe if you're riding bikes or something, but that's about it.
But I tell like Ava all the time, like, who's your best friend? She's like, you are, Dad. I'm like, I'm your best friend, too. So,
but you need adult conversation.
You do need adult conversation. So, I don't know. I was thinking about all the things that have happened. And I talk to a lot of people and they tell me, things that happened to them. And I'm just thinking like we have 8 kids.
Yes.
We have 3 in college. We run a business. We spend a lot of energy and effort on this social media stuff. Mm-hmm. We want to put out good content for people, helpful, useful, funny, entertaining. We coach baseball.
You coach baseball. I'm the cheerleader. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you spend almost just as much time on the baseball, like scheduling fields and helping me with stuff on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that their kid plays like a travel ball league, I don't think they realize how much the coaches actually do outside of practice.
Probably not.
It's a lot.
Not until you run your own team.
It's a lot. It's like there's something almost every day.
There is.
I don't know. I was just thinking about it and I'm thinking to myself, I get it now. I understand why people just want to throw in the towel. I understand why people are just exhausted.
There are days that, I think all of us could.
And then everything right now in this economy costs a fortune.
It does.
Like it's ridiculous.
It does. And so then on top of everything else going on, you got to sit down and you got to budget and figure out, okay, what are you going to, when you do your meal plans?
What's your best budget advice for someone out there that's do without?
Right now it's more like, okay, what meal am I going to have this week? And what do I already have in the house? And what do I have to purchase? So it's like you kind of have to look, see what you already have, and then just add on to that. Go to the store with a list.
And stick to the list.
Because if you don't, and never go to the store hungry.
Why not?
Because you will buy cookies and ice cream and all the good stuff.
We did buy those Halloween Oreos, and they lasted how long?
1 minute and 45 seconds.
That's another thing. When we buy snacks, like literally, it's like cows grazing in a pasture. They just eat the snacks. They just keep eating. They don't stop.
Yeah.
And all the snacks are going like in a day.
You have to hide them.
Where
I'm not telling you the hiding spot.
Oh, come on now.
No, then you go eat them.
So what?
Yeah, a support system. You need a support system.
And budgeting wise, it would be
figure out a budget and stick to it the best you can.
How much of your daily motivation comes from your kids?
A lot. They motivate me a lot.
Do you think that's the main reason you pop out of bed every day and go at it?
I believe so. And you.
And me?
Yeah. I think my family is why I get up and keep going every morning. My family's good.
But you see what I'm talking about? There's a lot of people out there struggling.
I do.
It's almost like, mental health is a big, big problem. So just to recap, if you could give final note on the end of this podcast, what would be your final thoughts to people out there that are suffering with high prices, crazy schedules, and maybe broken or struggling relationships?
Final thoughts. Always look for the positive. There's a positive in everything. Even though you think there's not, there has to be. Second, find you a friend, a good support friend that will truly be there for you.
How do you find a good friend?
Sometimes it's very hard.
Yeah.
It is. Sometimes you may think they're your friend and then you realize nope. So, it takes time to find that good friend.
You almost sound like that Chinese proverb where the old Chinese guy's like, well, how you know it's bad? You never heard that?
Refresh my mind. Maybe I have, but I don't remember.
Well, there's a story where this Chinese farmer has a son, and war breaks out, but the son broke his leg in the field, so all males at a certain age had to go off and fight the war. Well, his son had a broken leg, so he couldn't go fight the war, and everybody's like, oh, it must be good that your son didn't have to go to war. He said, well, how you know it's good? And then the flip side later, he would say, how you know it's good? How you know it's bad? In other words, like the situation is the situation.
Yeah, and I've never heard that one.
You never heard that one?
I've never heard that one.
I'll have to pull that up. All right. Well, we hope you found something positive.
Something fun.
Useful.
Entertaining.
Funny. We weren't funny today.
No, not very funny. We're pretty serious today. This is a serious topic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you need to be serious. We do a lot of funny stuff.
We are funny.
I'm funny. That cat is funny.
The cat, I know y'all can't hear it, but our cat is going, meow, meow.
Well, anyway, while you're out there trying to figure out how you're going to get this kid to practice, what you're going to cook for dinner, are the clothes going to get folded, and are you going to get any sleep tonight? Remember, life's a journey.
Enjoy the ride.